Hi, I'm Celeste.
I'm Silvana.
And welcome to the Lift program. Today we are going to just give you some tips and pointers on little bits that can help you with the program, either during the full program or any of our mini programs. And these are just some awareness ideas and maybe some helpful tools or props that you can use.
Yeah.
Okay? I actually am going to ask Silvana to kind of hop up on the table and we will work from here. Great. So the first thing we'll talk about are just some of the breathing tools. So we do a lot of breathing reference in the practice, and in some cases we will use a balloon. Sometimes we're just breathing on our own, and for some people the balloon might be too difficult to do because it really requires a very strong ability to exhale. It's what we aspire to, but in that event we can use a straw. So you can use the straw to breathe in through the nose and then out through the mouth, and breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. So any of the breathing exercises we're doing, even if we're not calling for a prop, you can use a straw because it will encourage a fuller and deeper exhalation, especially for those who are not really accessing their full use of their diaphragm, or they're a little stuck up in their throat and their neck. This is something that will help them. And make sure that you don't have openings in your mouth when your mouth is around the straw, because that's something else that happens. Make sure you really put your mouth over it, close. You don't want to bite and close it, but make sure you keep that seal to get that done. All right, perfect. So something else that is very helpful is sometimes using a pillow or rolled up towels. So you can use rolled up towels if that's all you have access to, it's fine, but for some people, they're going to need a little pillow under their head to create a better neck alignment because of their forward head position if they're too stiff. As you continue to do the practice, that should soften up as the mid-back and the lumbar and the cervical spine come to work together, but in the beginning, you may need a pillow there. For those that have prolapse, we're going to put something under the hips, and it's enough to raise the hips up and create a little tilt, bringing the organs into the cavity of the pelvis and toward the rib cage. So that could be done when we're on the back, and you could also use wedges in this case. So there are different varieties, and they have pillows that come in the shape of a wedge, but you can use wedges like this. And you can place these also under the back of the hip bones to create a little more of a connection. So that's another option for that. We'll stay with our pillows for a second because sometimes people need them on the side or if they're on the stomach. So if you roll onto your side, we generally are cueing resting the head on the arm. But for some people, their head is still going to be hanging over and out of alignment. So in that case, we can add a pillow of sort. And this one's a little low, actually. You might want something a little bit higher, right? Or put the arm underneath. So there stack pillows or towels to get the height that you need. That is another important point. And then if you go on your stomach, sometimes people have excessive tension in their low backs and they can't lay on their stomach without feeling a tremendous grip in their low back, and they can't do any of the other exercises that we suggest without having too much gripping in the back. And again, that will ease up with continued practice of the program, but we do sometimes need to put something under the hips. And in this case, again, you could use wedges. Go ahead. To just allow for a little more support so that the back is at ease. And you could also use a pillow, slide that underneath you. And for some people that feels really, really comfortable. I'm going to make one more suggestion with the pillow. And this is actually for somebody who take your hips up. If you're prone and it's somebody who maybe has some bone frailty. So Silvana, why don't you slide back for me just a little bit? Thank you. So somebody who might have some bone frailty, if it's osteoporosis, something to that effect, they may also not want to be putting pressure on their rib cage in the front. So in that case, you can also put a pillow under the ribs so there's a little extra cushioning. And then if we're doing something like the chest lift or the hover, you're having a cushion between you. Good, so I'll take that out. Perfect. Thank you so much. So that's an important one. We'll flip you back over. And I just want to use your feet for a second. So I'm really, really, really big on feet, as is Silvana. It is a really integral part of the work that we do, and sometimes we have no awareness. So somebody might be in this position and their foot might be rolled out too much or rolled in too much, or they can't really be on the whole foot. And if you stretch your legs, I'll actually lift your foot up. So even if your legs are stretched out, like the foot might be hanging out like this, or it might be overly pointed and like really tight in the ankle. So be mindful of the position of your ankle and foot. And I know that's a lot to ask, but inevitably the foot is doing something that is not what you want to be happening during the program. So you really need to pay attention to it. It is just as much a part of every aspect and detail of what we're doing as anything else, and that's whether you're standing or laying down, even on your stomach or on your side. So if you flip on your side for me, sometimes the feet will stay, like lift your knee up for me, and the foot will kind of turn in while the knee is lifting up, and you won't even know that that's happening. So you want to really keep the foot at ease and allow the knee to open, keeping the hip stacking closed, so that you're really working from the closer part to your core or to your pelvis than from your foot. But you need to keep that foot, because sometimes the foot will overwork, and it actually is counterproductive to what we're trying to achieve. And even on the stomach, you want to make sure that the feet aren't like turned in. So you can just, I'll have you lift them up so it's easier to see. So some people will have bring your knees together. Even when you're on the stomach, you want to pay attention to the feet. So if the knees are together, the feet are, go ahead, bring them parallel, are going to be parallel. If the knees are open, they're going to be turned out like a frog. And you don't want them also turning in to each other, like making this like cup shape. So Silvana has really flexible feet. I don't know that my feet will even do this. and really, so you want to make sure that there's a floor under your feet on both sides, right? So that's the imagining, whatever position you're in, that there's a floor under your feet on both sides. Great. And then you can flip back over. And we also use balls sometimes, and you'll notice, or some people will notice, that it's very hard for them to close their knees into an adduction position, or hard for them to keep it. So you have options there. You can actually take your rolled up towel or pillow and use that when we're doing the hold, just so you have a little more feedback. You could use a soft ball, which we use to sit on for the diastasis recti program, and that gives you some more feedback as well. Same thing on the stomach. You can use something as a prop to kind of help keep this connection together. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.